Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, February 6th. A soaking rain event is headed to the mid-Atlantic region. Low pressure is developing right now over the Tennessee Valley. It has a lot of support in the upper part of the atmosphere. The combination of a wave of energy and a powerful jet streak will produce some strong upward motion today in the mid-Atlantic region. And again, that will contribute to a soaking rain event for places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Really gets underway this afternoon with steadier and heavier rain arriving after kind of a lull in the precipitation this morning. There will be some light rain or drizzle this morning, maybe even some patchy fog, but the steadier, heavier stuff arrives this afternoon, continues off and on through the night and into the morning hours, and then a strong cold front will pass through the region on Friday. That frontal pass is likely to be accompanied by some very strong wind gusts, perhaps 40 to 50 miles per hour or so on Friday as a northwest flow develops and colder air moves in for tomorrow night. It remains quite windy on Friday night as well. Let's start off by looking at the surface map. And the cold frontal system that passed through the region from the north to the south early yesterday is going to turn around over the next couple of hours. Here is situated right now. We have cold air basically in the 30s all the way down to the D.C. metro region. This will turn around and push to the north as a warm front over the next few hours. Will become slightly milder by the midday hours today in places like D.C. and Philadelphia, and then noticeably milder this evening. In fact, temperatures could actually rise overnight tonight all the way up through New York City. Again, this warm front pushes back to the north during the next several hours, and the cold conditions of this morning will yield to milder conditions by the end of the day. And here's where the low pressure at the surface is starting to really intensify. Again, it has a lot of support in the upper part of the atmosphere. No reason to believe that it won't intensify dramatically over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Basically ends up over the interior part of Pennsylvania during the day on Friday, and at that time we could have some strong wind gusts, perhaps 40 to 50 miles per hour as the cold front presses through to the eastern seaboard, trailing that low pressure system. Well, certainly one way to tell that we have quite a developing storm here is by looking at some satellite imagery. This happens to be a long wave infrared satellite imagery loop from the College of DuPage website. First of all, we have one wave of low pressure moving away here off the northern New England coastline, and here is the development right now taking shape of surface low pressure with a vigorous wave of energy at 500 millibars, powerful jet streak, and some severe thunderstorm activity also down in this Tennessee Valley region, and they could have all kinds of severe weather today across the southeastern U.S. into Florida late today and overnight tonight. Again, quite a developing system right here. Now let's take a look at the radar. Well, here's the latest radar loop from WSI's and telecast.com. Again, kind of a lull in the precipitation this morning in the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philly to New York City. There is some light rain, drizzle, some patchy fog, but the rain will pick up this afternoon, become steadier and heavier as it moves in from the southwest to the northeast. And here is a developing area of surface low pressure down across the Tennessee Valley. Again, some of this is in the form of thunderstorm, and there can be some severe thunderstorm with damaging wind gusts across the southeastern part of the nation later today. Meanwhile, another wave producing significant snow up across northern New England. That's kind of been the trend this winter. They've certainly had their fair share of snow up in places like Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, but the I-95 corridor, New York City, down to Philly, D.C., not much snow at all to speak of, at least so far. But again, we have a soaking rain event all developing right now over the Tennessee Valley, headed from the southwest to the northeast. Well, I thought we'd take a look at a high-resolution model. This is the 3-kilometer version of the NAM model. It's higher resolution than the GFS, which is the global model. I think this particular model in this particular situation captures some of the mesoscale possibilities over the next 12 to 24 hours or so, including potential squall lines, and we'll kind of focus in on that. Here we are starting off the day on Thursday. Again, kind of a break in the action here in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. Some light rain or drizzle, but here is where to look for the steadier and heavier rain that will arrive during the midday and afternoon hours. Now let's push forward on an hourly basis. And here we are by the mid to late morning. Rainfall again becomes more steady, a little bit heavier by midday across D.C., and then midday, early afternoon into Philly and New York. And the heaviest rain is still to the south and west at this particular time. Now we are late today, and rain, look at that, picks up in intensity according to this high-resolution forecast model, and that will continue to push to the north and east. But by the end of the day, early tonight, we kind of have one line of heavier showers, maybe some embedded thunderstorms, generally to the south and east of the immediate I-95 corridor region. It looks like the trend has been a little bit farther to the south and east, a little bit to the south and east of I-95. Let's say from coastal New Jersey across the Delmarva, just south and east of D.C., all the way down into central North Carolina. And that's not the end of the story here in terms of lines of heavier precipitation that form. This is early to mid-evening hours. Again, some heavy rainfall, especially along coastal sections here now. Then we have another batch of steady rain moving into the interior sections of the Mid-Atlantic region. Now we're talking about midnight, early wee hours of the morning. Still some heavier and some embedded pockets of heavier rain as well, going into the late night time period, the early morning hours. And here we are now by Friday morning. Very strong low pressure system that pulls out of the Tennessee Valley, heads right into the interior section of Pennsylvania. 980 low as we start off the day about 7 or 8 a.m. on Friday. Some heavy rain associated with that across the interior sections of Pennsylvania. Look at these mesoscale lines here that are forming, and what this tells me is that there certainly can be some strong wind gusts with the cold frontal passage on Friday. Again, maybe 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts associated with perhaps some heavier, brief but heavier downpours, and it really picks up in intensity in terms of snowfall. A changeover to snow in upstate Pennsylvania. They may get significant accumulating snow in the higher elevations of northeastern Pennsylvania, let's say, on the day Friday. Here, 978 low, right in the heart of Pennsylvania. Again, kind of an impressive little line here showing up, and another line here. Those lines can be associated with some very strong wind gusts. Don't be surprised if National Weather Service puts out a wind advisory for Friday into Friday evening. And here we go by mid to late morning. That rain changes over to snow across northeastern Pennsylvania, maybe all the way down into east central Pennsylvania. Would not be surprised if there's a brief changeover to snow or snow showers all the way down into southeastern Pennsylvania, portions of New Jersey on Friday. A bigger story may end up being the winds tomorrow afternoon that will gust quite strongly out of the northwest. Snow, again, this has been kind of the story of the winter so far. Upstate New York, interior New England has had their fair share of snow, and here we are by the end of the day on Friday, going into Friday night. A cold night setting up. Still windy tomorrow night throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, perhaps not quite as much as midday, early afternoon hours, but nonetheless could gust up to 30 miles per hour or so. Mostly cloudy skies early tomorrow night and partly cloudy by late tomorrow night. So a soaking rain event headed to the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philly to New York City. Some strong wind gusts, perhaps 40 to 50 miles per hour on Friday, as that intense low pressure area moves right into the heart of Pennsylvania, and it'll have a strong cold front system trailing from it that will pass through the region during the late morning, early afternoon hours on Friday. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.